So my journey into the entrepreneurial world really started, my first real business was in 1990, where I started a carpet and upholstery cleaning company. And I lived off credit cards for the first couple of years because I didn't know how to generate business. I didn't know how to make the business work. I was struggling. And so I ended up learning marketing, a type of marketing that's not taught in most colleges and universities, which is direct response. And I started applying these techniques and methods to this small carpet cleaning company, and I built it and grew it up, and literally in a 6-month period after learning marketing, I 6 times the revenue of this company, and all of a sudden I was starting to figure out how to have some control over my income and my life, and I became so excited and so interested in how you can change the words on paper to influence human behavior that I started immersing myself in studying marketing, which is really applied psychology, to this small carpet cleaning company. And then I started teaching these other methods to other carpet cleaners, and I ended up seeing that they were getting results like I was getting results, and so I took it seriously, and I ended up building a training organization and company, and in a very short period of time I became the largest training organization in the world for professional carpet and upholstery cleaners and people that did fire and water restoration. And so during that period of time I had growing pains, and I was good at marketing, but I didn't have the infrastructure. I didn't have any idea on how to think about my own skills and my abilities. And I heard about this organization called Strategic Coach, this guy named Dan Sullivan. And I had called up the company because back then there weren't like websites where you could just call and get information. I mean, this was right at the very early stages of the internet. I had my first website in 1996. I believe I joined Strategic Coach end of 96, beginning in 1997. And I'd gotten a cassette tape that was for Strategic Coach explaining the program, saying, if you're ready for this program. And I remember that is what intrigued me the most, going, well, how do I know I'm ready? But I definitely want something else. So going on, 18 plus, maybe, close to 20 years now, I've been in Strategic Coach. And what I learned from the very beginning is this concept called ceiling of complexity, where as you're building and growing your business, you get to a point to where by yourself you can't take on any more. I mean, you've hit a ceiling where it's too complex. You either need to dramatically change something, or you need to quit being the rugged individualist. And so the rugged individualist is the entrepreneur that, the chief cook and bottle washer, does everything yourself. And to a certain point, that gets you to a certain level of success. But as Dan Sullivan says, the skills that get you out of Egypt are not the same skills that get you to the promised land. And so what Strategic Coach does is they help you think about your thinking. And one of the first things that I remember when I went to Strategic Coach was they said, okay, if you want to really build and grow your business, you have to take more time off, which is totally counterintuitive. Now, to this day, a lot of seminars and a lot of books and a lot of people preach that, they talk about it, they say it, but if you really get to know most people, that's not how they're living. And I even say that for myself. I could get up and do a whole seminar on how not to be a workaholic and how not to take time off, and why you should take time off and all of these things, but having your body do the things that your mouth and brain says to do don't always happen. And so one of the things in Strategic Coach was to get people to be congruent with their dreams, their desires, their goals. So you go to Strategic Coach looking for answers, looking for solutions, looking for ways to build and grow a business. And the way that they get you to those solutions is they give you a lot of questions. So Strategic Coach gets you to think and gets you to stop long enough to do it. And the thing with Dan Sullivan, which if you talk to a lot of different people about Dan, what people usually come back with, be it a dinner, be it a coaching session, be it any sort of meeting you have with Dan where you have an opportunity to either listen to him or to talk with him, what I have heard thousands of times is, wow, I never thought of it that way. I never thought of that perspective. I mean, he has such an interesting, unique way at looking at the world, framing the world, and seeing how it actually works from a different perspective and a different vantage point than most people, do. because this is a guy who has coached more successful entrepreneurs than probably anyone else in the world. And now there's a lot of people that have reached many entrepreneurs. There's many people that have sold thousands and tens of thousands and millions of books to people that are business owners. But in terms of an individual sitting in a room and having conversations and coaching groups of people, I don't know of anyone that has done more of that than Dan Sullivan. And not only groups of entrepreneurs, but people that are at a certain income level, because he's always focused on, let's go to the most successful entrepreneurs that have a certain income level and let's help the best get better. So he always seeks out the very best types of entrepreneurs and helps them become better versions of themselves. So in my own case, I joined Strategic Coach because I had this desire and this dream to build and grow a more successful business, and I showed up there. I didn't even know what I was signing up for. 20 years later, I still don't know why the hell, what's going to happen when I go to a Strategic Coach meeting, but what I do know is after every meeting, I walk out of there with more direction, more confidence, more capabilities, and more clarity in all areas of my life.